Hello everyone, Nancy here with A Joyful Cottage. So glad you're with me today. Thank you for stopping by. So today's video is going to cover my porch, a couple of things that I've done this week. The first is to get my porch ready for painting. I've done quite a bit of work on that and I finished it. So the floor is painted on my porch. I'm going to take you through that process. And then also I painted the bird cage from the thrift haul that I showed you last week. So I'll be showing you that process as well. So it's been an exciting week. It's been a weird weather week. We've had snow, we've had sleet, we've had rain, and now today it's just a really beautiful day. So back and forth, I did the porch floor on a couple of nice days when it was in the 70s, and I hurried and got that done. And then we had the bad weather after that. So then it was back indoors and I worked on the bird cage, and I think you'll like the way it's turned out. If you like things like that are painted, I think you'll like it, but you'll have to let me know in the comments what you think of my porch floor do and also the bird cage. So without further ado, let's just dive right in. And thanks again for stopping by. So the first step is to pull up this old outdoor carpeting that's been screwed onto the porch floor. I'm glad it wasn't glued. It's making it much easier to get up. So it's got screws in about 8 different places that are easy to get out. So I'm going to do that next. Now the screws are out, I can just go ahead and pull up this old carpeting and dispose of it. And because it's just a really thin carpet, I can just fold it up and I'll throw it in my trash pickup can. It was easy getting that rug up, but now look at all the dirt that's underneath. I'm gonna have to sweep this all up, and then I'm gonna have to start doing some sanding. And as I suspected, this is all plywood. So this isn't like the rest of the porch, which is the deck board. So that's disappointing, but I pretty much figured that's what I was going to find under there. So, all right, so next step is to get this cleaned up. The other thing I want to do is get rid of this crazy thing. I have no idea what this is for, why it's there, but I'm definitely going to take this opportunity to get rid of it. So I think I figured it out. There's another hole. When I took that first screw out, there's another hole down here, and I think it was meant to hold a hanging plant or something, but it's ugly. I'm going to get rid of it anyway. So I've got some patching to do. I'll have to get some wood filler and fill in those holes, but that's okay. It's going to look good when it's all done. The sanding didn't take very long, maybe half hour, 45 minutes. Most of the paint was adhered pretty well, especially under the rug that I took up. It was really in great shape, so it really didn't require a lot of sanding. The sanding was really to remove any loose paint and to smooth it out so I could prime it and then go on to give it at least one coat, probably 2 coats of paint. This is how it looks now that the paint is dried. I do like the color. Got the outdoor carpet screwed down. This is what it looks like. There are some creases from when it was rolled up that will relax, but I think it's going to be fine. I have a rug ordered from Amazon that should be here the end of the week, and it's actually a washable rug. It's not an outdoor rug, it's an indoor rug, but it's washable, but it has a real cottage vibe going, so I think that's going to be great, and I'm excited to show that to you. And now on to the bird cage. This is really dusty, more dusty than anything, so it's probably tucked away in an attic or a garage or something, so we're going to give it a good cleaning with some Dawn dish soap and some warm water. So I have this area between the bars I need to get to, so I found a toothbrush, an old toothbrush, and I'm going to use that to wash that area in between the bars. Okay, now we're going to let that completely dry. While the birdcage was drying, I actually went out and mowed my lawn. This is a picture of my little lawnmower I bought last year. It's a little electric Ryobi. I love this little machine. It just does such a great job. And it's only 18 inches wide, so it's a tiny little thing, but it's really easy to manage. And I like the fact that it runs on batteries that are rechargeable. So that's what I did while this was drying. And now I've brought it inside. I'm not going to paint outside, even though it's beautiful out. It's about 70 degrees. But I'm not going to paint outside because it does have some pretty breezy, it's pretty breezy out there, and I don't want to risk having dirt and debris get in my paint, so I'm going to paint inside. But first I'm just going over it with a wet cloth to make sure that there's no soap residue on the bird cage before I paint. Okay, I've got my bird cage ready to go. I've got it on my Lazy Susan, which I found. I'm happy about. And I'm going to be painting this with Waverly chalk paint in the color Moss. This is readily available for me at Walmart here in my area, and I have used Waverly many times among other types of chalk paint, and this is one I really like. This color I like. It's I actually did a sample. I'll show you. I wanted to see how I would like this for my porch furniture. I was going to do the rocker in a sage green as well. So I tried out the celery, which is from Waverly, and also the moss. So this is the color of the moss that I'm going to paint the bird cage, and this is the color that I'll be painting the rocker. I didn't want them to be the same color green because I don't want it to look too contrived out there, too matchy-matchy. I want to keep things kind of organic, like they were collected over time, and I think these will work really well together. So I'm just gonna, I've poured some of the chalk paint into this yogurt container, and I'm just gonna get started painting. I don't know how this is going to work, if this will I don't know how this is going to work with the finish, but it seems to be going on fine. Now I know painting old pieces like this is very controversial. There are some people that just do not like to see vintage pieces, old pieces painted. And if this was in pristine condition, I would not only not paint it, I probably wouldn't even buy it. Because I can appreciate antiques, fine antiques, but I'm not one to fill my home with them. And I look for things that I can paint and make over because that's my style. That's what gets me excited. I was watching an older video that Ginger Chick Rehab posted probably about a year ago. And I don't know if you watch her channel. She does some really cool things with thrifted items, auction items that she and her husband find. And they have a booth, more than one I think, where they sell the things that they make over. And she does a lot of painting. And she had been doing a series of bread boxes. And she was painting them. She paints a lot of green because that's what sells in her booth. And she said that in the video I was watching yesterday, like I said, it was about a year ago, she said that she had kind of gone through a period where she'd stopped painting the bread boxes and left them the natural wood because people that watch her channel were complaining about the fact that she paints everything. They wanted her to stop painting everything. So, trying to please her viewers, she went ahead and didn't paint those bread boxes, and not one of them sold. The ones that had been painted, even other colors besides green, sold every time. But the ones that were not painted did not sell. And so she had decided that on that video to paint a bread box that she took out of her booth because it hadn't sold. And, you know, she's mentioned before that we have to do what we love, right? If you don't love painted furniture, then by all means don't paint it. Leave it alone. You know, if you like Pottery Barn or something else that's modern, great, go for it. If you can afford it and you like it, or you can make over furniture to look like new furniture, then you should do it. You should definitely do it, because that makes you happy, then go for it. But I could not sit and watch, let me put it this way, I could not enjoy this piece if I had left it in its original condition. I wouldn't enjoy it. It would bug me to look at it. To me, in its natural state, it's interesting, but it has no personality. And that's my opinion. You may feel differently. And if so, that's okay. It's okay to feel that way. All right. Well, it's going on really well. Paint is sticking. It probably would have been a lot easier to spray paint this, but I don't want to paint the wire. I want to leave the wire as it is. And in order to do that, I'm going to switch brushes here in a minute because I need something smaller. in order to make sure that the wire doesn't get painted, I need to paint it by hand. That's the only way I can see to do it. So it's going to take me a while. It's going to take longer this way, but I think I'll be happier with the results. Then if I spray painted it, I'd have to worry about what to do about the wire. All right. So I'm gonna switch brushes. Stick this down in there. I think this will work easier on this. So, yeah, it was interesting to see Yvonne over at Ginger Chick Rehab, her reaction to people demanding, not demanding, I guess, but people can really be vocal about not painting things. And here she was trying to please her viewers, and she lost out on some sales. So all that to say, we all have to, I think we just have to accept that we're different and be okay with that. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I saw quite a few green bird cages, vintage bird cages as well on Pinterest. So I thought, I felt pretty confident painting this green. You know, and if I'll see let's see how this is going to work in between the wire. If I get down to the end here and I get down here to the end of this, and it's I'll see how I like it if it's not completely covered. I think leaving some of it, you know, where the paint has left some of the natural wood shinings, or I think where the paint has not covered completely and some of the wood is showing through, might be just fine. So we'll have to see how that works out. This brush is part of a pack that I bought. They're artist brushes. I think I got them at Home Depot. But I really like this one because it has an angle. So it's easy to get in those small spots. So I think this is gonna work out great to get around that wire. I might get a little bit of paint at the bottom of the wire, but I think that's okay. That's not gonna hurt anything. So this is gonna be rather tedious. I'm not going to bore you with watching the whole process. I think you get the idea. So I am going to turn off my phone, my camera, and I'm going to continue working on this, and I'll bring you back around when I'm finished. There's a broken piece here that I'm not going to worry about. This is not something I'm looking for perfection. I'm looking for an old, aged, vintage look, and that's going to work out just fine. If I was going to sell this piece, I would fix that and spruce it up, but I'm not going to worry about it. As I gained more confidence, it was easier to paint around the wire. And I have a baby wipe. So if I get what I think is too much paint on the wire, which I haven't done here, but if I do, I just take the baby wipe and wipe the wire down. So that works out pretty well. I've been working on, excuse me, I've been working on this for about 20 minutes. And of course, this is the most tedious part right here. But like I said, I'm gaining some confidence, not worried so much about getting the paint where it doesn't belong, because I have this baby wipe that I can just go over it and wipe it off. This wire is interesting. It has kind of a, I guess it's aged in an interesting way. It's dark in some areas, like almost black, and then it's gray in other areas. So I don't know if it's black that's turned gray or the gray that's turned black. I don't know, but it is rather interesting. And I am liking this very much. I love this color green. It's a very pretty color. So that's how I'm getting around the wire. And it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be, I mean, it's a little tedious, but in a way it's also relaxing. I guess I like to paint. And so while I'm painting sometimes, oops, excuse me, while I'm painting sometimes I'm thinking about the project. Sometimes I'm thinking about other things. I might be praying. It's just a time to, sometimes it's a time to reflect. So I love to do projects. That's kind of my thing. And like I said, it would be really hard for me to live with this particular piece in its original state. And that's not a slur against anyone that feels differently. I just really envisioned it in a different way, in a much different way. So, as I said, that's okay. We can like different things. I think when I get this part done, I'm going to have to let it dry while I consider how to do the inside of the bird cage. Because that's going to be a bit of a challenge, getting in there. There's only that one way to get in, and that is through this door. If you can see that. This door right here. This doorway. So I have to get my arm in there and my hand and figure out a way to get that done. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but I think I'm up for it. This is, as I said in my last video when I showed the bird cage in my thrift haul, this is something that I've been looking for a long time. And I've never found one ever in a thrift store or a garage sale. So I am excited to have found it and to give it new life in my home on my porch as part of my cottagecore porch. I think it's going to be a great addition. So I'm curious if there's anything that, if you're a thrifter, is there something that you have been waiting to find that you haven't yet found, that, oops, I'm hitting the phone, that you've been, is there something you've been looking for that you haven't yet found? And if so, what is it? Tell me in the comments. I'd love to know what it is that you've been looking for. Okay, I'm going to finish this up, and then we'll move on to the next step. I have thought about doing something on the tray, the bottom of the tray, put some kind of design on it maybe, but as I was working on this, and especially after I cleaned it, I thought I really like the galvanized steel that's on this piece. So I'm just going to leave it like it is. I'm not going to do anything to it. I think it'll just add more to the vintage charm. But I am going to paint the wood the same color as the birdcage. I've got one coat on. This is how it looks. I haven't done the top piece yet. I'll probably do that last. So this is one coat. And it covered very well. I'm going to let this dry overnight. It's late in the day. It's a little bit after 4 here. I'm hungry. I'm going to make dinner. It's been a long day. I think I've done enough for one day. I'm going to make some dinner and relax before I go to bed. And then I'll get up in the morning and work on it again. I've got to do the inside. So I'm thinking I'll probably lay it on its side. It'll be nice and dry. I'll just lay it on its side and see if I can get in there and get it painted. So this may be a couple-day project, but anyway, I really am liking the color. I'm really glad I painted it. I think it's going to be really pretty. Okay, I'm going to try reaching through this doorway and see how I can paint the inside. I don't think you can really see this, but fortunately a lot of the hard part has already been painted. Anything around the wires has already been painted, so all I have to do is just get the larger sections of this inside. I'm using my small brush to do this. It's easier to manage. This is I'm not sure you can really see that, so I'm going to try moving my camera around. Okay, I think this might work better as far as the camera angle goes. It's a little awkward, but not impossible. I'll come back with a smaller brush to get around that wire. So I don't want to spend a lot of time trying to keep it off, trying to keep the paint off the wire. I want to concentrate on the wood. Just trying to keep the paint off the wire. Okay, I'm just going to keep doing this. Again, I'm not going to bore you with having you watch all this, and I don't want to videotape the whole thing because it's makes for a really long video, and that makes it hard to edit. So I'm just going to stop the camera at this point and I'll finish up. Okay, I've got one coat of paint on the bird cage. I'm going to go ahead and put one more coat on the front of the tray before I slide it in. I'm going to give one more coat to the areas where this grain is showing. I really like the color. I think it's going to look good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and give it that one second coat, that final coat, and then I'll paint the little topper on it too. So I finished painting the birdcage. There is one coat and some touch-up on the whole thing. So, yeah, it's ready to distress a little bit. I've got some 220 sandpaper here, and I'm going to distress it just a little bit with this. Just mostly around the corners. Along the edges. Just anywhere where the paint might have worn off. Final step is to apply clear wax to seal, protect, and to give a little bit of sheen to the matte chalk paint. An old flour sack cloth that I'm going to use to apply this. I've had this wax for quite some time. I used it on my cabinets 5 years ago when I painted them in the kitchen. And it's lasted a long time because a little goes a long way. And I like this wax because it's kind of creamy. Goes on well. When this is dry, I'll buff it to bring out the sheen. Well, I hope you enjoyed the refreshing of my porch floor and the makeover of the birdcage. They were both projects that I was happy to do and excited about finishing, and also looking forward to sharing them with you. So thank you for hanging with me today. If you're a regular viewer, you know that I've been reading Psalms since the first of the year. And you'll also know that recently my brother lost his wife and has been going through the grieving process. And thank you so much for your prayers. He's actually doing pretty well considering circumstances. I spoke to him on Easter Sunday and we had a good talk. And I also shared something I had read that morning from Psalms. And I want to share it with you now. This is Psalm 112. And it starts with verse 6. For the righteous will never be moved. He will be remembered forever. He is not afraid of bad news. His heart is firm, trusting in the Lord. And I shared that with him because I thought it was so appropriate to where he's at right now and how he does trust in the Lord and his heart is firm and steady. And so I wanted to just share that with you. And you know, life is just full of surprises and sometimes we get bad news, but when we are walking with the Lord, when we're trusting in him, we can handle even that because we know that he will get us through it. And he's certainly getting our family through some rough times right now. So again, thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your concern and your love. You mean a lot to me, and I'm so glad that I get to do this journey with you. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and do leave a comment if you've visited here for the first time. I'd love to know that you've joined me. If you're a new subscriber, thank you. If you haven't subscribed yet, but you've been watching and you enjoy the content, I hope you will subscribe and become part of this channel family, A Joyful Cottage. Again, I'm Nancy, and I'm so glad you were with me today. God bless you, and I'll see you again soon.